Okay, we're back. As my crazy friend on the other screen here has roped me into, we're going to be doing and ranking chunk by chunk, battle by battle, head-to-head battle, which ultimately the head-to-head battles mean nothing, but you'll see as we go along.
More entertaining.
We're going to be ranking the top 75 NBA players of all time. And this is our second go, and we're doing 3 head-to-head matchups per session. So we've already ranked 6 players in order. And as we go, we're going to keep filing players in, doing 6 every video that we pop out. So we've got 3 interesting matchups this week. And again, if you're just watching this and you're like, what are these guys talking about? We have no idea.
I'm the expert.
There's no metrics. It's all, there's definitely, some bias, and we're bringing the bias in, and sue us. That's what we got. We didn't watch some of these guys play, and we're just going to do our best. So the first 2 up, we've got Neil Johnston and Bill Sharman. Now I knew the name, and I've heard the name Bill Sharman before, like digging into these guys. I had definitely not heard of Neil Johnston.
Yeah. It's crazy how good some of these guys are, but we really don't have a clue about them.
I mean, TV was black and white when they played. So
this is true.
Definitely a very different world. And the game, even from our prime in being NBA fans in the 90s, early 2000s, I would call that our prime as fans. We were kids. We were obsessed.
Yeah.
The game today is so much different from then.
Yeah, big time.
It's just a completely different world. And that's the same thing when you go back another generation. And I would argue that Neil Johnston and Bill Sharman are like 2 generations before the 90s, at least.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're the pioneers. That's the first real decade of the NBA.
Yeah.
So yeah, who did you go? Oh, first, let me give some stats here that I wrote down. So I have Bill Sharman is an 8-time All-Star, 1 time winning the All-Star MVP, 4-time first team All-NBA, 3 times second All-NBA. And he was on Boston in the 50s. So that means that he won 4 championships. And then Neil Johnston is a 3-time scoring leader, 1-time rebounding leader, a 6-time All-Star, 4 times first NBA, and 1 time second NBA. And he won 1 championship.
Mm-hmm.
Who'd you go with?
Well, given no information whatsoever besides their basketball reference pages, I really wanted to lean on Neil Johnston, just because I was like, you know what, Neil Johnston, he's that guy who did it on his own kind of thing. Because Bill Sharman was part of a super team, like that's all we can call it. Those Boston Celtics were maniacs.
Did you go with Johnston?
I did not.
No,
I went Bill Sharman.
So did I.
There's just too much on the list for him.
Yeah, I was reading, so I read a little bit more, and there are basketball fans that are basically saying he's probably the best shooting guard of the 50s.
Well, that's what I was seeing in the little more research that I did, is that this guy was the first sharpshooter, and I watched old footage of him, and man, he slung that ball like he was catch and shoot Klay Thompson. Yeah, he was the first Klay Thompson for sure.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Okay. Yep. That's okay. We both agree with that one. All right.
Although he did have a lower win share.
Bill Sharman.
Yeah, by 10 points.
Lower win share.
Yeah, he had 82.8, and Neil Johnston's was 92. And Neil Johnston's PER was 24.7 versus Sharman's 18.2. So those are big numbers.
I mean, it's a good matchup. I don't think you're going to be wrong going either way. But yeah, Sharman, I agree. All right, who's up next?
We've agreed on a lot more of these than I thought.
I know.
People aren't going to get these juicy arguments from us or anything like that. Okay, so then we have Dominique Wilkins versus Clyde Drexler. Clyde the Glide.
Awesome athletes.
Both insane athletes. Yeah. Both like just star. I mean, Clyde was, I guess they're both star 2 guards, although Clyde was a small forward, but he played a very outside in game a lot because he was so athletic. He would take guys off the dribble.
Yeah, absolutely.
They matched up closely on a lot of things, like points, rebounds, assists were not really dramatically different.
Mhm.
Field goal percentages really close. 3-point field goal percent, like almost exact same numbers. Exactly same PER, and the win share was very different though. For the people who care about that.
Yeah, what was it?
Clyde's was 135.6 and
Wow.
Dominique's was 117.5.
Okay.
Again, the win share is like the complete opposite of the eye test. Like, who are you taking when you watch someone play? And if we just did win share rankings to see who the best player was of all time, I'm sure that it would be inappropriate.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, you can't just take a one stat. All right, here's some other info I got. Dominique, 9-time All-Star, one-time first All-NBA, 4-time second All-NBA, 1-time scoring champ. Drexler, 10-time All-Star, 1-time first, 2-time second, and 1 championship, which he won with Houston with the King.
All rookie for Dominique as well. I don't know if that existed when Clyde came in.
I don't know. I wasn't looking at that either. But you know what? I would say that I'm going to give you mine. I'm going to give you my pick first.
Yeah.
Okay, I went with Dominique. Who'd you go with?
Dominique.
Of course. Well, we know what we're talking about. We are the experts. Dominique, I think, is super underrated. I think he's super underrated. I think that he is significantly better than people give him credit for. And I think that was true in his heyday as well. I think people looked at him like he was just a dunker, and he wasn't. Like, he was a beast. Definitely, it would be arguably that he was the best in-game dunker.
Until Vince came along.
Yeah, Vince, McGrady, I would put him right there with them. Man, he was powerful.
Yeah, he was a monster. So when you talk about like eye test and how their peers talk about them, and I said this in our first recording, to me, I really love hearing the peers talk about the players, because it tells you so much more than the stats can sometimes.
For sure.
Like, there are players who were feared. People did not want to play them. Shaq, absolutely. Jordan, even Larry Bird. Like, you don't talk crap to those players. You don't want to see them. And Dominique rates a little bit higher on this versus Clyde Drexler. And it has a little bit to do with their playing style. Like, Dominique was bigger, stronger, and he used his power to dunk right in people's faces. So of course, that eye test came into effect a little bit there as well. I think ultimately, like, between these guys, because they're fairly evenly matched up. Dominique had almost 5 points more per game, I guess, which is significant. But the rest of the numbers are similar. There was one of the key stats that I thought, maybe I was wrong. I'm looking at the wrong research.
Drexler was definitely more successful, I would say.
Ultimately, I also picked Dominique Wilkins. He just the eye test and the dominance. And Clyde, a lot of Clyde's success came from, like, that championship came from being a role player.
He was a number 2.
You think he's number 2?
Yeah, he's a number 2.
Okay, we'll give him 2.
But he was number 1 when he was on Portland the whole time, and wasn't able to get over that hump until he joined the team. All right, moving on, because we don't want this video to go on forever. Okay. Because I know that top 12 is going to be tough to rank them. Anyway, last 2, KIDD versus Parker. Another awesome point guard matchup.
So when we talk about personal bias, which is totally allowed in our rankings,
of course,
like, I would take Tony Parker before I would take Jason Kidd. Personal bias.
I don't like Jason Kidd. I feel like you're going the same route that I am now.
Yeah, he's a huge dick. He's like not a good person in almost every way possible. And wasn't really a winner even, except his win share numbers are really high.
He led New Jersey.
That's true.
You have
to hate New Jersey though. So
I do hate New Jersey.
Yeah.
Always have.
But really, honestly, there's no comparison. Jason Kidd, across the board, dominates all the statistics.
Yeah.
So this old school statistics. The only thing he doesn't have, and if you're probably going to go through the stats, is he doesn't have the ring.
Yeah. So Jason,
versus 4.
Yeah, Jason Kidd. So All-Star games, 10 for Kidd, 6 for Parker. All NBA teams, 5 first for Kidd. 1 second for Kidd. And for Parker, only 3 second teams.
One
Now
first.
this is a big difference too. I have for the defensive, all defensive
9 times.
4
Sorry.
first 5 seconds for KIDD. Like
Yeah. I jumped the gun on you there. Sorry.
none for Parker. That's okay. But yeah, the 4 championships. I hear a phone ringing. 4 championships for Parker.
Yeah.
And 1 for KIDD.
Yeah.
The Tony Parker 4 championships and 1 MVP, finals MVP. He won the finals MVP. That's a big deal. That bumps him up huge for me. However, I did go with KIDD as well. Okay, now's the time. Yeah.
If you're gonna talk down, I mean, you also Jason Kidd had Rookie of the Year, and he was on the All Rookie team.
Yep.
The Rookie of the Year is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the 9-time All Defense just took it over the top.
Yeah, I agree. That's what did it for sure. Okay, so I'm gonna run down my top 12.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about our differences,
Okay.
if there are any.
Yeah.
Okay, so compare mine to yours, okay? And then I'll put them up on the screen afterwards. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go from bottom to top,
Oh, okay.
okay?
Yeah.
Bob Lanier, Chris Bosch, Clyde Drexler, Paul Pierce, Neil Johnston, Mutombo, Dominique Wilkins, Wes Unseld, or is it Unsled? Bill Sharman, Dennis Rodman, Tony Parker, Jason Kidd for number 1 and 2. I put them both at 1 and 2. I know, which is crazy.
Holy smokes.
Yep.
Whoa. Actually,
Where's the differences? What do you got?
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't put a lot of thought into this, but now that I'm looking at it, like I want to reorder some things, but
I always want to reorder it.
I wouldn't change my top player. So I'll go in reverse order as well.
Sound good.
I mean, it's just a mishmash, but Neil Johnson at the bottom, then
Okay.
Bob Lanier, Chris Bosch,
Yeah.
Sharman above Bosch, then Parker.
Sherman's low. Damn, Parker's low.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then Drexler, then Wilkins. Because the reason for the Parker thing, and I always hate when people say this, but he was in a system, that kind of nonsense. So even though I hate that argument, I'm using that argument for Parker right now.
Finals MVP.
Yeah, but so is Andre Iguodala.
Maybe Andre Iguodala is going to pop up in this list sometime.
Yeah, maybe not. And then I have Drexler, Wilkins, Unsled, Jason Kidd, Mutombo, Paul Pierce, Rodman.
Wow.
But I think I would move Paul Pierce down. I don't know.
Yeah, I would move Paul Pierce down because I did.
But well, man, you put Kidd at the top.
Yeah, where's your KIDD? Where'd you put KIDD?
4th.
What's your top 3?
Rodman, Pierce, Mutombo.
Wow. Pierce definitely. I wouldn't even put Pierce over Wilkins.
Really? But Paul Pierce, even though he's a weirdo and a poopy pants, he won. He was a winner. He was a big shot taker. He had a small peak, but when the peak was high, like it wasn't long in duration. But when he was at his best, man, he was a beast.
Yeah, but Dominique was just as dominant. If you gave Dominique a super team the same way Pierce did, he would have won a championship and got finals MVP.
Well, I can't argue that right now because I don't have the teammates he played with to argue with you.
Neither do I. I'm just saying.
Like he had some good teams, no?
He didn't really have good teams, I don't think. At least from my memory. I didn't look it up either. But I mean, like Pierce got a super team, like a super team. You know, there was 4 All-Stars on that team. And like it was ridiculous. I'm not doubting that he's good, but I don't think he's that good. What do you average? 20? Dominique, 25. Yeah, I don't know. I'd go with Dominique over Pierce for sure. And Parker, I mean, I think he's underrated too. I think because he was in that system, I think he was underrated. I think he's a much better point guard and player than people give him credit for.
Well, you might be right. And like people tried to say that about Kawhi. And
Yeah.
then he came to Toronto and won a chip. And
Yeah.
like, I think the other thing people say it about Steve Nash all the time. They say, you know, oh, he was a system player. If you didn't
Keep your
have-
eyes open for Steve Nash. He will be
And,
on this list for sure.
even though he's a 2-time MVP, I think he's horribly underrated.
Absolutely. We'll save that conversation. We'll save that conversation. Maybe we'll put him in the next video. All right,
So-
I'm gonna throw up the graphic of all of our top 12, and you guys can compare them and check it out and see who you agree or disagree with. And you know, don't
Definitely
get
tell
too
us where
mean.
we went wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
There's some
no,
basketball scholars out there, so
you can try to tell us, but I'm right, so it's all good.
you notice I improved my background this time, and yours still looks like junk.
Yeah, I'll
Put that in
improve
the
mine.
video.
Hopefully next time. All right, let's get out of here. Make it a short video.
Wrap it up.
Thanks, everyone.